Okay, we are good to go. Thanks again, everyone, for joining this session. Like I said, we'll start with Dynamics NAV and Power BI first. If some of you weren't there in my previous session, just a small introduction about myself. I am Suvidha Shashikumar, and I work as a partner consultant at Microsoft, and I'm located in India, and I primarily work on Dynamics NAV. And the agenda for this first session is looks like this. So this session might take around 90 minutes, and last 30 minutes we can move to the social engagement part. So the contents of this session are we'll understand how we can get data out of Dynamics NAV. What are the ways? So we'll also understand what Power BI is all about. We'll look at some of the demos and see how we can build beautiful reports and dashboards using Power BI. So that's the first part, and we can have a Q&A session at the end. So starting with the introduction, you all know Microsoft Dynamics NAV already. It's nothing new for you all. So from NAV, what are the ways we can get data out so that Power BI can access this data and give us a better analysis of this data? So we can easily pull out data from NAV using web services and directly from SQL database. So these are the two ways of getting data out, and we are going to cover both of these in today's session. So that's from Dynamics NAV side. And coming to Power BI. So there is a little bit of history to Power BI. So before I introduce what Power BI is today, I just want to explain what it was before. So until some time, maybe a month or two before, Power BI used to work with only Office 365. So it was called Power BI for Office 365. So it was part of Office 365, where you had to buy an additional module like license, where you would have Power BI. Everything that you have to design, you had to do it through the normal Excel, where you would get data into your Excel, manipulate your data, and then you build reports or charts and visualizations in your Excel workbook, and then you had to upload this Excel onto your Office 365 site. And in that Office 365 site, you could share those reports with others, and they could use those reports and view these reports on a web browser. So that's how it was before. So just to give you an architecture wise, it was Excel, and in Excel you would use the animation is not done correct here. I'm sorry about that, but just to give you an example, in your Excel, we would use something called Power Pivot and Power View to build charts. And this was just a workbook, Excel workbook. And then we would put that on your SharePoint 2010 or Office 365, where other people can use your reports to analyze data, refresh it, and etc. So that's how it was before. Okay, so from last 1 month or so, things have changed. It's become a lot more easier compared to this old system. So now we have PowerBI.com. The new Power BI is much simpler, and it lets you analyze and visual data all in one place. You can still use Excel if you're very comfortable with it. But so I'm going to show you using Power BI through Excel, as well as some new tools that have come up. So just to give you a brief definition of what Power BI is. Power BI is all about giving meaning to your data. You can visualize and analyze data all in one place. So Power BI mainly has these 3 steps, as you can see. First, you get the data that you want. So normally your ERP has loads and loads of data. So connect to data, maybe in Excel spreadsheet, through your favorite services, or some inside your organization, some people might just give you some data. So connect to your data, and Power BI collects all these data in one place, so you can stop searching for data and start exploring. So that is just collecting everything and putting it in Power BI. And second step would be you try to get stories out of your data. What is this? Get some meaningful insights from the data. And thirdly, you can share this meaningful insights or visualizations with others, so that you can make better decisions. So that's what Power BI is all about, and we're going to see a lot of it today. So coming to getting your data, so powerbi.com can connect with many different data sources automatically. If for example, dynamic CRM is one of them. So CRM online is a SaaS service, so there is an option to directly connect with CRM and get data out of CRM. If you have an Azure SQL database, that's another one. You can get data directly, and refreshing in this case is it's going to be a real-time visualization that you can get, because both your data source and your Power BI is online. But unfortunately, Dynamics NAV is not one of them as of now. But I can show you how we can still get real-time data in Power BI. Okay, so once you have all your data, and once you've created your reports, this is how a Power BI dashboard can look like. This is just one of the examples that I've pulled up. So this is a sample one that you already get. So we'll see this as well in some time. Just to give you what are the highlights of Power BI. You can get live dashboards and interactive reports showing insights of your business. You can view dashboards in web browsers directly. You can monitor dashboards for most important data, the only data that is of your concern. In Power BI, you can ask a question to Power BI in a natural language. So what is my sales today, sales amount today? So it will tell you what it is for today. So it can be that interactive. You can even drill down to underlying reports if you want. You can pin is something where you mark your most favorite dashboards, and you can have all of them as your main dashboard. So I'll be showing that in some time. And of course, you can share this whole dashboard with other colleagues of yours if if it makes sense to them as well. So these are some of the key features of Power BI. And visualization of data can also be done in newer ways. For example, not just pie chart or a bar chart or a column chart. You can view data in a funnel, gauge, fill map, tree map, combo chart. These are some of them. So there are new ways of analyzing data, not just the old bar charts and pie charts. And next, coming to the demo, the better part of understanding what Power BI is all about. So let me just switch to my remote machine, where it's a Azure virtual machine where Dynamics NAV is installed. This is not mandatory, but I'm just using this one. So in this virtual machine, I have NAV 2015 installed. Okay, here's my NAV 2015, and before we come here, let's just explore what this Power BI is. So how do we go to powerbi.com? So it's powerbi.microsoft.com. Okay, once you come here, there are two versions of Power BI, Power BI Free and Power BI Pro. Of course, Power BI Pro has some additional advantages or additional features compared to Power BI Free. But to start with, you can, and you can just start with the Power BI Free version. It's free for anybody to analyze data. So this is where you will land. And this is a site which just describes all the features that I was just talking about. And if you want to look at what it is all about, for the first time user, log in with your organizational ID and say use it for free. Okay, so once you create your account, you can of course sign in. So mine is already created. I'll directly sign in. It has to be a work address. It cannot be a normal address like gmail.com or yahoo.com. So use your organizational uh, email address there. So I have a Office 365 account or a sign in information. So I'll use that one. Okay, once I sign in to Power BI, this is what for the first time, this is what you will see. You will have a sample dashboard, you will have a sample report and a data set. This is just given to explore what Power BI is all about. So let's just understand each and every element that we have here. So coming with the data set. So data set is what your it consists of your actual core data. So data set can be some data coming in from NAV or from CRM or from some normal Excel sheet. So all those data sets can be will be visible under here, and you can add new data sets using get data. So we'll go there in a bit. Reports are nothing but from a data set you can have multiple reports. So you can come here to see reports. So this is a store sales overview report, and it's like an Excel sheet actually. So there's one sheet here, sales overview. Distinct monthly sales is another sheet in the same report. And also we have another one, new store sales, which is another sheet in the same report. Of course you can have another new report here as well. Okay, so you can build a new report, and to do that all you have to do is come on datasets and start preparing. So we'll see that in a bit. So these are reports which is where you're actually getting giving some creating charts out of your data set. And thirdly, we have a dashboard. Dashboard is something that when you log into Power BI, you will first see your dashboard, and from your report you can pin your favorite charts into your dashboard. So if I go to my dashboard, all these parts are coming from your report. So if I just click on one of them, it will go to a report, the same report but in the second sheet, and it's just coming from here. So we'll see what it is. Again, it's just a dashboard which is made out of the reports, and that's about dashboards. And you can start sharing your dashboard with your colleagues. You can type in their email address, or you can even have a group where you can share it with the whole group. So under my workspace, there is a option to create a group. So for example, sales team, you want to create a group for sales team, so that all you have to do is share it with that group. So you can do that as well using create group. And coming to this side, okay, let's finish the left hand side first. So if you're starting with a new Power BI report or a new Power BI dashboard you want to create, first you need to get your data. So when you click on get data, you'll come to this screen, and in this screen I think there's a message. Okay, the data set, anyhow we can filter some condition like posting date before it refresh. The refresh filtering, you can do it. You can filter it after the report is ready. You can filter it, of course, but refresh is something completely different. So I think once I show the whole once I show the actual demo, you might get a better understanding. So some more time, you might you know the session might answer the question for you. Okay, cool. So getting the data is all about, there are different options to get data. So from my organization is within my organization, if somebody is created a content pack or data, they've already got it from NAV, for example, and they have shared it with you. You can get that data. As of now, I have nothing, so I can create my own content pack. Content pack is nothing but, again, I can say that I have this data. I've already got it from my NAV or CRM. Instead of people again trying to get it from CRM, I might as well share it with them. So you can do that using content packs. Okay, so going back to get data, you have multiple services. So we already saw this. Um, all these are the all these are out of box, connected to these services. So for example, you can see the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So you can log into CRM and connect to your CRM instance and start getting data out of your CRM. So similarly, we have all the other options that you can see here to get data directly from these services. And that is services. And under get data, you have, if you want to connect to another other data types. So one is files, for example. In your local machine, if you have some Excel sheet or some data lying and you want to analyze that data, you can do so. And you can of course get it from OneDrive for business or personal. And this is just a learning thing about how to get data, so that's different. And lastly, we have databases and more. Again, it's like online available Azure SQL databases, SQL Server analysis services, etc. So these are the things that you can connect to out of the box in PowerBI.com. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is go back to my Power BI home screen, and I am just going to delete this sample data set for now, so that we can create our own uh, from scratch. Okay, so I'm just going to delete it. So it's all empty here. Of course, there is a filter content where if you have multiple dashboards and data sets, you can easily filter. And also on the right hand side, you have some options. You have manage personal storage. I think the one that I have is Power BI Pro version. In Pro version, you get 10 GB space. If it's a free version, you get only 1 GB space. This Pro version also has 10 months of trial period, so you can opt that to try the Pro version. Again, create content pack and view content packs are about content packs that I just talked about. And Power BI for Office 365 is the older version. I spoke about the history of Power BI. So if you want any details on how it was before, you can go here. There are some downloads available as well. So once you have Power BI, you can have Power BI for mobile, where you can view your reports on mobile. And Power BI desktop, we'll look at this, and Power BI personal gateway, we'll look at these two later. Analysis service connector again is to connect with SQL Server analysis server, I think. So we'll look at these downloads that are available, and apart from that, it's nothing much, your own profile and sign out here. Okay, so that's about what Power BI, and within Power BI what you can do. So now let's create our own reports and see what how we can actually make use of this Power BI. Okay, so say for example, let's start with the simple one. In your Power, somebody just sends you a customer data in an Excel sheet is just a plain customer data, and this is actually from Dynamics NAV database. But just say imagine that this is sent from some outside system and somebody has just mailed it to you, and this is a lot of data with a lot of columns, and you would like to analyze this data, for example. And the best way to do that is through Power BI. So let's start with this one first. Okay, so let's go to Power BI and start with, so this is a local file, right? So let's use get here and local file and go get that file directly. Okay, so it's importing the data in here, and here is, okay, it has automatically created a dashboard. I don't think that's necessary, so I'm just going to delete this dashboard. So we just have the data here. So okay, the star means that it's a newly imported data set. So you click on your data set, and it doesn't show the data here. All you can do is start creating reports. So when you click on the data set, it'll open a report designer for you, and it's now in the edit mode. You can switch to reading mode later, but this is in the edit mode because there is nothing designed yet. So let's start by creating some some reports out of this customer data. So let me see. So customer wise, we can how to, okay, too many, oops, sorry. Okay, here is the no, I can see a small scroll bar. I don't know why it's made so tough to scroll down. Wow. Okay, I can just, I'm using my keyboard down arrow. Okay, so I'm going to pick customer wise balance. Oh, simple report I want to see. Who are the customers who have balance? So I want the name. Okay, I think N or the number. Uh, where is the name? Name is here. Okay. The minute I put that, you can see on the left hand side, there's all the data that is coming in, all the unique numbers and names. And then I want to put the balance. Balance due or some data. Okay, so all the balance is also shown here. Now I want to have a visualization for this particular data. Say for example a simple bar chart or a column chart. So I'll take a bar chart only. Okay, once I do that, I need to see what is in the x-axis, what is in the y-axis, etc. So I am going to remove number. All I want is name, for example. So x-axis, there is name, and value is balance. So one thing is important now for me to put a filter. I don't want customers with zero balance. Okay, so let's put a visual level filter. So under filters, you can say that balance due is not zero, apply filter. Okay, so now you can see all the customers with balance only. Okay, and also you can sort this by balance due so that the person with the highest balance is on top. Okay, so this is one, and similarly you can start having multiple analysis from the same data set. So in the same report, if I click on this particular chart, then we'll start adding more to this particular chart, but I want to create another chart, so I'll click outside. Okay, I've clicked outside now, and now I will see country wise how many people, how many customers do we have. Okay, so let's go to country region code. So if you see here, the minute I chose country, it recognizes that this is something related to country, and I can show this on a map. But if you want, you can of course change it here in the visualizations, but I'll leave it as it is. And maybe I'll drag this down. Sorry. I will resize this one, and below this I'll add country so that I can show this one clearly. Okay, so location is here, and it's already showing country wise how many country codes are there in customer count in each and every country code. So in you know okay, it's not really showing. It's just pointing out all the countries that are available. So, but we want the values of the customer numbers, the count of customer numbers. So I'm just going to find number. Okay, and it automatically took its count of numbers. Sorry. I click on it, and it automatically took values as count of number, because it cannot, it's not a decimal to put a, summation or something like that. So all it can, the best it can do is count of number. So you can also count distinct, but since it's a customer master, all the numbers are distinct, so it won't be a difference. There won't be any difference. So see here, it's all the distinct customers location wise. So if I now click on, see here, customer US has, country US has 8 customers. Canada has 6, and similarly, this is some country has 3, and there are 2 in India, etc. So that's how you can keep adding more and more visualizations. And all these visualizations can also be you can have a legend if you want. For example, here x-axis is this, and if you want to have a legend on it, you can drag and drop a field, and you can customize this particular chart even better. You can click on format on here, and you can say whether you want to show x-axis or not, so that people can click here to see what the values are. So let that be there. Okay, x-axis is there, and you can have a title on top. So when I put the title, and okay, there was a place to, okay, 1 second. Okay, the title of the x-axis, so sorry, y-axis, the name. So if you want that, you can have that on the x-axis. So I'll minimize y-axis. On the x-axis, again, you have some of the options. If you want to have the title, so it will say it's a balanced due on x-axis, you can choose that. So you can even customize the data colors. So by default it's this, but you can choose some other color. And show all is for each and every customer you can choose different color if you want, if you know that number of people on y-axis is less, so you can choose different colors if you want. And data labels are off now. If you put that on, you can see the value right here on each and every bar. And again, you can put the color of that label and display precision, etc. You can have a title for this whole chart. So now it's by default it's come balance due by name, but you can put it as customer balances or something like that. So you can always do that. Okay, and also again color and alignment. So let's put it to the center so you can see the thing here. You can have a background and font color, etc. here if you want for the title, and you can have a whole background for this whole chart if you want. So by default it's white, so let's say I'll take light blue and it becomes like that, and you can increase the transparency or decrease the transparency, etc. So that's about formatting a chart, and these are two simple charts, and this is your report that you just created. It's not saved yet, so let's go and save this file, save this report as customer analysis or customer report. Okay, so I'm just going to save it. So it created the same thing, that same report here. Okay, if you click on that, you see it comes in a view mode, reading mode. So all that designer is not there. All you can do is put filters if you want. So if I click on this, I think there is filter. No, here. Okay, balance is not 0. The filter that we had put, we can change it if you want, and you can put a filter on name if you want. So only filters can be put in here, and also you can sort it if you want. But otherwise, if you want to edit this report, put more charts, you need to go to edit report and add more visualizations. Okay, so that is about read view and edit view. So switching back to read view, it's just how people can see this. So if you're the creator, I think unless you're the creator of the report or an admin, only then you can edit a report. When you share this report or a dashboard with others, they will not be able to edit these reports. So that's about report. So similarly, if I now click on customer data, it's again blank, you see, and it will ask me if I want to create a new report. So I can start fresh with creating a new report from this data set, which is nothing but the data coming in from Excel. Okay, so you can start and create another report and save it under here. So for now, I'll just create it as it is, and from my report, I can start using some of the things. So if I think that if I want to increase, if I think my job is increasing customer count, I think this is a very important chart for me. So I'll pin this. All I have to do is pin visual. Okay, and oh, I think I need to create a dashboard before I pin visual. So I just create a dashboard. I clicked on this plus mark, and my customer dashboard. Okay, on my I have one dashboard now. In my customer report, I'll click on this and it will get pinned to this my dashboard. So we can add more, of course, more visualizations in the dashboard to to have all the important things the minute you open the Power BI. So that's a simple report that we just saw to understand what Power BI is all about. So we just saw a few features. Now let's try to connect with Dynamics NAV data and see how we can actually use Dynamics NAV data in Power BI and how they can work together in a better way. So what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm just going to delete this data source. I don't want it, so because I want to start all fresh with only NAV data next. Okay, so now we have no dashboards, no reports, no data sets. So let's prepare our Dynamics NAV data first. It's all prepared. I'll just show you the data that we're going to use. So I hope you all know how queries work. If not queries, you can also use pages to expose data. So I've created 3 queries to get data out of Dynamics NAV database. So first one is sales invoice. So it's all about sales invoice details. So I'm getting data from multiple tables here, and all these tables are connected to each other. So I am mainly getting sales invoice details and the profit amount from customer ledger entry, and of course some of the names of salesperson, name of the country, etc. And sales invoice line, I'm getting the item number and quantity. Okay, so let me just make this the item number so that there is no confusion later. So this is a query that I've created which fetches data from multiple tables in NAV and gives it in one view. So if I run this query, you'll see that all the sales invoice related data is coming in. Okay, so there's document, all the sales invoice documents, what was the currency factor, what's the amount, posting date, and customer, who was the customer and his city, what was the profit of this particular sales invoice, who was the salesperson, again country of this particular customer, and which item was sold, and what was the total quantity for this particular item. Okay, so that's all. That's what I've got here. So here, if you see, there's the same document number with 3 lines. That's probably because there are 3 different sales invoice lines. So that's fine. Just wanted to show that these are not all unique document numbers, but it's combination of all the tables together. So this is one. I also have 2 simple queries. In this sales invoice, if you saw, I have sell to customer number, but there is no name of the customer. But in a Power BI report, if I just put a number, how will the end user know what customer it is? So we can't expect users to know what the customer number is. So they will relate to customers using their names. And similarly, we have item number. Again, the same story. You can't expect the end users to know what the item number is, but they'll know item names much better. So for that, I have 2 more queries. I have customer query where only customer related fields from customer table, it's getting all the numbers, name, what is the credit limit and balance. And I have also have item data where only item number and that item name is being picked up. So we have 3 queries which are defined, and all these 3 queries are also exposed as web services. Okay, so I've exposed them all already. All the 3 queries are exposed as web service, and here is the OData URL. To test whether it's working fine, I'm going to click on one of them, and okay, I'll just say continue. And this warning is coming because it's on Azure and I need to put .cloudapp.net, otherwise the warning will disappear. So I have this complete link here. So it's important that you don't get this certification error. Okay, so now there is no certification error here. All I have to do is log in. I'm using the NAV user password login, so I have to use the same here. See, if you see here, there is no certification error. That's important that you don't get any red bar here for your web services. And yeah, here is it won't show the actual data, but of course it says there are 52 sales invoices. And similarly, if I just take for example item details, copy that and paste it here. There you go, 144 items. So it is available outside. So if you have the user ID and password, you should be able to see this same OData there too. So we have our NAV data available outside. So now let's make use of this NAV data. First, we'll use the Excel, the normal Excel, and then I'll show you other tools available as well. Okay, so one second. Okay, let's start with Excel. So I'm just going to use Excel 2013. And if you have an Excel professional version or professional pro version, you should be able to have Power Query and Power Pivot. So Power Query is something that you can use your favorite search engine and search for Power Query, download that Power Query, install it wherever you're going to use Excel. And once you install that, you need to enable both Power Query and Power Pivot. Power Pivot will be available out of the box, but Power Query you have to download. And once you download, go to File, go to Accounts, sorry, Options, and go to Add-ins. And you got to say it's under Manage, say COM Add-ins and go. And here you will be able to see all the options. So see, I've enabled all of them. Power Query for Excel, Power View also you need to enable, and Power Pivot. So if you enable these three, you will see two main tabs, which is Power Query and Power Pivot. And under Insert, you will also see Power View. So these three are important. And once you have enabled all of them, now let's learn what these three things are and how they are connected to Power BI. Okay, so let's start with Power Query. So what is this Power Query? Once you've enabled them, you will see this particular tab. Like I said, it's a data modeling tool mainly used to discover, import, combine, refine, reshape, and share data easily. Okay, so it's a modeling tool. You can get your raw data from NAV here first. You can reshape it, remodel it like how you want, and have it here. So let's start with using Power Query. So get external data. So here is the main tab where you can start by getting your data. First thing is we have three OData services. So let's start with sales invoice details. So I'm just going to copy this and start from so mine is not a database as of now. It's not from Azure. It's not from a file, but it's from other source, which is our NAV. So we have a OData feed. So we'll say OData and paste it here and click on OK. So it's trying to get all our NAV data from there. The minute it gets all the data, it will open a query editor. So see, it's actually in a different window altogether. In the query editor, you now reshape your data. Keep only what you want, and just make sure that all your data is ready like how you want it for your report or your Power BI report. So let's first rename this query as sales invoice data. Okay, so I renamed it. And we need the document number, say for example all this. See, posting date, it's showing date as well as time. So all we need is time, date for example. So we'll say data type here is date only. So the minute I do that, it says okay, it's date. And then let's keep the customer number, city, amount. Amount has again, for amount, data type is showing as any. It's better to put that as a decimal number. Make that as a decimal number. Again, profit LCY also is a decimal number. So if you see here, we have amount in foreign currency but profit in local currency. So we have to make sure that we have amount also in local currency, so that both amount and total amount and profit are in local currency. So we'll see that in some time. And we have item number here, quantity. We have quantity of items sold, but if you see again, data type is, let's make it decimal. And if you see, the quantity has a lot of decimal points, let's round that off. So go to transform, and here there is a rounding option, round with, so I chose round up or round down. You can completely round it or round with 2 decimal places. So I'm just going to do it with 2 decimal places. Okay, every step that I'm doing, if you see, it will show here applied steps. Okay, you can go to any particular step. So if I go to the previous step, see this quantity step is not done, was not done here. So you can go to any particular step and delete the you can undo by clicking on one of these. Okay, so um, that is it. You can also on your home page choose columns that you only want in your report. So say for example, I think I want almost everything for now, so I'll keep everything, but you can remove some of the fields if you don't want it. And like I said, let's also calculate amount in LCY. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under add column and add a custom column to this data set. And I'm going to say I want to calculate amount LCY, and I can put a formula. So this is also called M formula. There is a huge documentation for this. You can find it online, but I'm going to put a simple formula now. So I'll say if the currency factor is 0, that means it's in the local currency only, then amount will be same as what is in amount. If currency factor is not 0, then you need to divide this amount by the currency factor. Okay, so to get the local amount with LCY. So I'm going to say if currency factor is equal to 0, then show the amount itself here. So there is one space that needs to come. If not, or else, amount should be divided, okay, space, amount should be divided by the currency factor. Okay, so I'll click on OK. And if you see at the end, there's a new column that got added, and here is the new column. So again, this new column needs rounding off. So let's round it off, round with 2 decimal places. Okay, so I think we are all set with this particular query, which is sales invoice data. So once all your data is ready, you can actually, you can of course explore. There are a lot of other options. You can split a column, you can group data, etc. But I've just shown some of them which we normally use. And once all your data is ready, you should load this data to a data model. So I'll say close and load. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are not going to load it to this Excel workbook. So it's not going to show here. So if you want it to show here, you can say table, but I want to create a connection only. So only create connection and add this data model to data model should be ticked. So I'll say load. So now that data, whatever we altered, is getting saved and getting loaded to the data model. So we'll see what that is in a bit. Before we do that, if you remember, we have 2 more web services. So we need to do the same for these 2 as well. So go to Power Query, from other source, from OData feed, paste it here, what the OData link. So this is the item list. Okay, so there's nothing that I can do here. The data is very minimal. So I'll just say item list and close and load to the data model. So load it. So that is getting loaded. And thirdly, I'll also, okay, I've copied the same thing twice. So let me just copy the customer details, which is the first one. Okay, this is customer details, but I need to add dot cloudapp.net for it to be perfect. Okay, I copied the customer details next, and again from other sources, OData feed, I paste my link, click on OK. Let's rename this to customer list. And if you want to do some, maybe say that this is a decimal field, data type is decimal number, balance LCY is also decimal number. Decimal numbers, if you're using them in a report, it's important that you tell that it's a decimal number, because otherwise the report will not understand if you have to sum up and all that. So it's important that you say these are decimal numbers. So we'll do that, and we'll close and load again to the data model. Okay, so now we have imported all three sets of data from NAV, and we have refined all the data and we have loaded them to the data model. So what is this data model? So if you go to Power Pivot, okay, and click on Manage, that's where you will see all the data now. Okay, so see here, you'll see sales invoice data, item list, customer list. Okay, all the data is here. And what is this Power Pivot? With Power Pivot, you can create relationships, custom measures, hierarchies, etc. And you can use Power Pivot for all these things. In our example, the main thing that we need to do is create relationship between all the three data sets. How will my Power BI know that here item number, for example, 1001, what is its name? So I have to, how will it know? It has to go in here and see 1001 is towering bicycle. So we need to create a relationship between all the three data sets for the Power BI report to know what is what and what the relationship is. So let's create a relationship. So diagram view is the easiest way to create a relationship. So all the three data sets you will see here. So let's create a relationship now. So item number, from the item list, you create a relationship. Okay, it just took table this item list and column number, and you need to create a relationship with sales invoice data, which is item number here. So let's choose that, sales invoice data and item number. Okay, you click on create and you'll see that these two got created. If you double click this, you'll see the same relationship. Similarly, from customer list, we need to create a relationship with number, and in sales invoice data, we need to create relationship with sell to, or there is customer number itself. That's the name that I've given. There's customer number. So we'll create a relationship. So it won't point exactly where. If you want to see exactly which columns, you need to double click these lines here. So we just created the relationships that we require. So now sales invoice data, you can you can get the description of an item or a customer name, etc., or customer's credit limit or balance and all, and use it all together now in a better way. Okay, now the relationships are created. Let's close this. Okay, so now we got in all the data, we created relationship. Now all we need to do is create a report or a visualization. So you can go to insert and use Power View, which will use this data model and give you a powerful visualization. So you insert a Power View, Okay, this is some feedback. So I'm just closing this workbook queries. So this is from Power Query, so I don't want that now. But in Power View fields, you'll see all the three different data sets. Okay, so mainly sales invoice. So let's get that down, and all the three tables and all the fields in it. So let's make a simple chart in a Power View report. So let me see what we can do. Okay, how about item wise sales? So if I take sales amount LCY, okay, and it's trying to put that there. See on the left hand side all the sales amount detail. It just took the complete total sales amount, but I want to see that item wise. So instead of number, which was only the only item number was available in sales invoice data, I want the description of item. So I'll take that. You see it's coming from two different data sets. Since we have created a relationship, it's able to identify. Okay, item wise sales amount, and you can of course put this in a particular visualization, say column chart. Okay, and you can put a filter where amount is yeah, it's not showing anything between anything that is zero, so that's good. And you can put a filter on description also if you want to see some particular items only. So that's about how you use Power View, and you can of course put a title for this. You can sort this by amount LCY, for example, and also maybe descending to show the highest sold item first, etc. So you can do similar to how we saw in PowerBI.com. Even using Power View report, you can create multiple small charts, and you can save this Excel. And before, this is what we used to do. We used to have Power View reports and put this on Office 365 where people would use it, right? So now this is just whatever I showed you now is to give you a good understanding of what Power Query is, what Power Pivot is, and what Power View is. Okay, so now of course you can save this Excel on your local machine, and so I'll put that in Power BI. Sales report by items. Okay, I saved that Excel sheet and close it. You can go to your powerbi.com and get this file directly. Sales report by items. So what it's going to do is okay, let's see if this is going to come up here. Okay, dashboard, I think it just normally creates an empty one, but it normally creates a data set. If you have Power Query, it creates a data set. If you also have a Power View report, it creates that same chart here, whatever chart that is there here. But it's still not that simple, right? So what we did was we opened Excel, we created Power Query, we used Power Query, Power View, Power Pivot, all the three things together, saved it in Excel, then imported it here. Doesn't look very simple. So which is why we have something called Power BI for desktop. So we'll use that. Same concepts are used here, but all in one place. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. All these things that I just showed was so that you get an understanding of what Power Query is, what Power Pivot is, and then what Power View is. So let's delete all this. Okay, and go to So what you can do is, instead of using Excel, you can use Power BI desktop. Same concept can be used in Power BI for desktop, but in a simpler fashion, and uploading it to your Power BI site is much simpler. So I've already installed it. You can just download it from there and install it on your server machine maybe, or wherever you'd like it. So I've installed it. I have Power BI desktop. It looks similar to your Power BI designer, like we used before. But like I said, in if you want to directly start designing, you cannot use OData or SQL Server database directly here. So which is why you need to use Power BI for desktop. So here are some videos that can be useful. So you can have a look at these videos. So what I'm going to do is do the same thing, but maybe create more visualizations this time. Okay, so the first thing is here, see what all options we have. Data is nothing but Power Query. It's called data here. Relationships is nothing but Power Pivot. But what we are doing is creating relationships. So it's in much simpler way, and exactly the only things that matter and are most important. And of course, the first one is report, which will create the report, which is nothing but Power View. So all the three things are available here. So let's start by getting the data first. Okay, so we are going to use OData feed. I'm going to quickly create the same reports. Okay, first is the sales invoice details. You remember how Power Query, it opened in a separate window. Similarly, it's going to open here as well. It's just another tool, but it'll only have things that are important. You can load it as it is if you want, but it's always better to edit it and make sure all your data is refined. So I'll say edit. So it opened another window for you. Sometimes preview may be 2 days old if it recognizes that no data has changed. So just say refresh. Okay, similar to Excel, I'm just going to say sales invoice details. Okay, and that's the name. And let's start by changing the data type of this date. Amount and profit LCY, let's make that as decimal numbers. So this is actually a repetition, but I think it'll be, it's a good revision. So let's also say sum is a decimal, and also let's round this off. Transform round with 2 decimal points or 2 decimal places. And also finally we need to add another column which will calculate the amount in LCY. So let's add a column, add custom column, and let's call that amount LCY. And the formula is if currency factor is 0, then amount as it is, else amount divided by the currency factor. Okay, so that's about it. So that added the new LCY, amount LCY. Let's also round it off to 2 decimal places. Oops, sorry, this is under add column, so it actually added another column with rounded this thing. So now I want to undo this step, so I'll just click on that line here into mark, and it did an undo of that step. So I need to transform the existing field, so I'll go to transform and I'll use the rounding available here, so that will round the same column. Okay, so now our data is ready. Now this time, there is no close and load to and all that. You just close and apply it. It will of course create a data model. So one is that we have two more data sets to import. So let's quickly import the items. Get data from OData feed, paste it there and click on OK. Here we do not have much to change, so I'll load it directly. Okay, and oh, I should have changed the name of the query, but I think I can still do that. Let's see. Edit queries. Okay, the first one is done. The second query, I'm just going to say it's items and close and apply. Okay, so that is also done. And thirdly, customer details. OData feed. And here we just need to make sure that balance and credit limit are of type decimal. So let's do that. Decimal number. It's also a decimal number. And let's rename this to customers. Okay. So all our data is ready under data. See all the three you can browse right here. Now let's create a relationship. That's the next step, like we did it in Excel. So let's go to relationships and okay, now manage relationships and start by creating a new relationship. New, just say that from customer the number should be connected with sales invoice details customer number. So that's one relationship. And we have another one for item. So new items, item number should be connected with sales invoice details and item number in this one. So there it is. So you create a relationship between all the three data sets and close. Okay. So now data is ready, the relationships are created. Now only visualization part is remaining. So this report designer is exactly like how you saw it on the Power BI site as well. So similarly, you can start designing your visualizations here. So let's start by creating multiple reports. So what I'm going to do is I'll expand all the columns so it's easy for me to pick up. So let's start with the first one. What I'm going to do is customers. First, I'll design a customer report. All the customers, sales and profit. Okay, so I'm going to take the customer's name. Okay, all the customer names come here. And amount LCY is the sales amount for that customer. You see automatically if there's no sales, there is all those customers got cut out and filtered out. So which is good. And also let's take profit. So sales is this much and profit is this much for this customer. Now let's put a chart, clustered column chart for this, where it can have two, or even if you have one more decimal field, even that can be done. So three bars will be, columns will be given for each and every customer. So let's put it this way. And let's sort this by amount, highest amount, sort by amount LCY, or whichever you want. Highest profit giver is this guy. I can't pronounce his name, but yeah, the third one. And highest sales by the first guy that you see here. So you can sort it however you want. And of course, like I showed before, you can format your chart by coming here. Maybe I'm going to just do few things like the title. I'm just going to give a meaningful title: customers, sales and profit. Okay, and also my font color, I'll choose it as black and let it be on the left hand side itself. Okay, you can do more like I showed you before. Okay, so that's one. And next what I'm going to do is I want to add more charts or more data for my customer related sales data. One more thing that I would want to know when it comes to customers is what are the total number of customers I have today. Okay, so I'll click outside and I'll just choose name. Okay, and I'll say sorry, I undid that. So I'll choose name. I want the unique name, or it's better to choose numbers because same customer can have same name. Multiple customers can have same name. So I'll choose number, which is always unique, but I want the total count of that, right? So I know all the numbers are distinct, so I'll just say count. So it's saying 69 customers is what we have. And for displaying a single digit like this, we have another visualization called card. You can put that in a card. Okay, so let's put the total number of customers here on the right hand side. And for this card, you can also again go to edit and change the background maybe to something else. Okay, this count of number, this can be edited only in the dashboards, but unfortunately not here. So let it be as it is. So we have to, let's also add some data below in case people want to drill down and see what are the for a particular customer, what are the actual documents or sales invoices done. So below this, I'll click outside and I'll start by saying creating a data or a table. So I'll say customer name and what is the document number of the sales invoice, all the document numbers. Maybe I also want to put which city he's from. So I want to put the city before the document number, say for example. So I'll just drag the document number down. Can I do that? Okay, I had to take the city up. So customer, which city, which is the sales invoice document number, and which is the item. For example, item number, let's put item number, and maybe even item name, which is under items data set. And I think there's some question here. Oh, sorry, did anybody get disconnected? Hello? Can you hear me? Can somebody please confirm? I'm sorry, I saw the okay, great. Thanks, Jin. Going back to my remote desktop here. Okay. Okay, so I'm just getting all the data in case people want to see what documents actually this report is showing. So item, and you can also put amount and even quantity if you want. You can put whatever you want, in fact. So I'm just going to use amount and profit. All right, the minute it's a decimal field, it also shows the total below, which is amazing. Okay, so one more nice thing about these visualizations is that if you want to see, say for example, you want to see what this beef house customer is actually, what are his transactions. So you can actually click on that particular tab or a particular column, and the minute you do that, the other charts, if they also have same data set or if they are related, they will also show the filtered view. So this particular guy, beef house, has two documents or two invoices so far, and these are the amounts, and how it will show you an explanation of how this 13,000 change is coming from. So similarly, you can click once more and the filtering will go off. So that's one way of filtering. Okay, so let me just resize this thing back. Okay, that's one way of filtering. Now you can also add another way of filtering. So here you can just filter on the customer. But what if you want to see country wise? Okay, so you can't click here on the city or country if there was to filter it. So for a particular country, which are the customers and what are the documents? So what you can do is click outside and choose your country. Okay, the minute it is country, it assumes that we are trying to show something on the map. But what I want to show is a filter. So there is something called slicer. So just use the slicer. Just say it's a slicer. Okay, let's just put that there. And similarly, I want to see, what if I want to see the sales of customers from location wise? Okay, do we have location? Okay, I think I forgot to add that here. Or you can have customer posting group wise. So click outside and say customer posting group. Okay, it just came somewhere here. Of course, you can drag and place it wherever you want and say that it is a slicer. Slicer only means that it's a filter. Of course, you can also have filters here on the right hand side under filters. So for example, posting date, I'll just take and put it under page level filters. Page level filter is for the whole page, not just for particular visualization. So I'll just put that there, posting date. And we'll see, this is also a filter, these two are also filter, this is also filter, but it's just your choice of how you want to present it to your end user. Okay, so now we have one new report and some filters into it. So say for example, when I say Iceland, it'll automatically change everything. So it'll show that in Iceland we have 2 customers only, and for those 2 customers, which are the sales invoice documents that we have. Okay, and what else? And you can remove a filter by clicking on this small button here called clear selection. And similarly, we have let's see who are all the foreign customers. The minute I click on foreign, all the foreign customers and their documents are shown here. So all these things can be done. You can have more slices if you want, and you can also have more cards or more charts or more data like this. So we have one report ready. Now let's publish this to our Power BI site. Okay, I'm just going to say save. And desktop, I'll just put it in my Power BI. So it's going to get saved as a Power BI file, PBIX file. So customer sales report. So it's all customer related mainly. So we have count of customer wise sales and profit, etc. So the minute you save it, it's actually taking this report and pasting it in your Power BI site. Okay, once that is done, close it and go to your Power BI. You can see that there's a new data set, customer sales report, and customer sales report is a new report. Okay, all your data is, or your report is available here now. So it's much simpler to use Power BI for desktop to create a report and publish it to your Power BI site. So let me quickly create another report. Okay, so I'm just going to click on another page, and what I'm going to do is I'll create some more visualizations so that you get a good understanding of how this really works. So sales overview report is what I'm going to create now. One is salesperson wise, how they have done when it comes to sales, salesperson wise amount and profit. Okay, so this is one, and I can put a column chart or a bar chart. So this is their sales, and that's their profit part. Okay, so that is one. And what is the total sales till today? Okay, so you can just click outside and use amount LCY. Okay, so it automatically took a bar chart, but you can say that it's a card if you want to show the amount in numbers like this. Okay, and let's put sales by region. So I can say country, and I want to say sales amount. Okay, country wise, what is the sales amount? So it's actually showing that in country Iceland there is highest number of sales, so that's why it has a big dot here. So when it comes to showing on map, we have another option also, which is filled map, so you can use that as well. So it will actually show a filling like this. So the darker the better. So in Iceland it's it's darkest because sales is highest here. In other countries it gets lighter and lighter, but for the data that we have, this makes more sense, so I'll use this. Okay, and let's also add total sales, sales and profit by customer posting group. So I click outside and customer posting group, sales and profit, and for this I'll add a bar chart. Okay, clustered bar in fact, so we can put that however you like. And let's also put sales by location. I wish I had put the location here. Okay, instead of adding a bar chart just to showcase another visualization, I'll put this as a pie chart. And when it's a pie, it's always better to have one value. We have amount and profit, so it doesn't know how to exactly show it. So I'm just going to use it like this. So we have foreign sales this much, Europe this much, and domestic this much. So we have a small pie chart there. So let's put that down. Let's Okay, and along with this, what else? Customer balances is another one. We have all the customers and balances, so I'll just take, oops, sorry, I'll click outside and say name and balances. Let's put it here and put some other kind of chart, maybe. I don't know if scatter chart really works because balances is all in the same range, I think. So let's pick up this one, tree map. The customer with the highest balance will have the biggest cube or biggest place, and it will also show, similarly it will show different customers with their different balances. Okay, so you can actually click on particular block to see what it is all about. So just some more visualizations I wanted to show here. Like I said, for each and every visualization you can go edit or format the visualization, put different kinds of legends, colors, you can add a background or a title, etc. So once I have another one now. So this is the same report actually, but I just added a different page. Let's also rename the pages as customer wise sales is the first one, and this one has sales overview in general. Okay, let me also add under amount the total profit amount that we till date. Okay, so let me just bring that here and say it's a card, not any bar chart or anything. Okay, so I think, yeah. Okay, so now I'm just going to click on publish, and it's going to rewrite the same PBIX file and also replace the same file that is available in the powerbi.com. Now if I go back, my customer sales report has two sheets, and now since we have a report, we just have one report with multiple sheets, but you can have multiple reports like this. And now you can choose your favorite things to pin on your dashboard. Okay, so let's take count of customers as one. Okay, I have to create a dashboard. I'll just call it sales. Go to my sales report, pin this one. It says pin to dashboard. Go to your sales overview, pin whatever you like. If you like amount and profit values, if you want to see the customer or sorry sales by posting groups, let's take that. Let's also take maybe this one. And if I go back to the first sheet, I maybe want to take this one as well. You cannot take the slices. Okay, so these are just to filter in the report. So go to your dashboard now, and everything is available here. And now you can of course rearrange them however you want to. Even in sorry, if you click on them, you will come to the report that is behind it. So go back to your sales and resize this one. And yeah, so that's how a dashboard works. And in the dashboard, sorry, I just clicked on it and it came back here. So in the dashboard, you can actually, it says count of number here, right? So you can of course edit it. So it's actually count of customers, or say total customers. Okay, and click on apply. And similarly, total sales amount, total profit amount, you can rename all these things if you want. Okay, so that becomes your dashboard. And in this dashboard, you can now share your dashboard with your people. So for example, I have another email address, Susan. Okay, so I can just say share, and Susan will get an email with notification, and it'll have a link to this particular dashboard, and she can of course go into these particular reports as well. She can click on particular place, go into the underlying report, but she will not be able to edit it because she's not the creator of these reports. Okay, so that's about creating reports and dashboards. And now the most important part is, how do we make sure that this data is real time? Okay, so let's understand that. Okay, I think we are running out of time. I should have completed by now. So coming to data sets, there's something called schedule refresh. Click on that one. Unfortunately, bad news for now, because uh, it recognized that we are getting data from 3 ODatas, which is good. You'll say, okay, enter the credentials. So mine is a basic credential. If it is a Windows, I think it works. I've not tried. If it's in a local network, I think Windows will work. But mine is on Azure with NAV user ID and password. So NAV user and password, and this actually gives me a error that it's not secure enough. I think it is because I use a self-signed certificate, but if you use a proper certificate, this should be able to I think this will work, but I'm still not sure. I think this is also a limitation, but I will check and let you know if with OData you can refresh. The only other way is to come here, click on refresh here, and just say publish. It will go there and upload. But this is obviously manual, where you actually come and do it manually, refresh and publish again and rewrite it. But if this works with the actual certificate, which is really good, you can schedule this refresh on a daily basis or a weekly basis. If you're using a Power BI free version, these are the only option. But if you have Power BI Pro, you can schedule it to refresh every hour. Okay, so now it's I have free version as well, so I'll say daily and at what time, and you can set a schedule refresh. Okay, but now since OData is not really working, I did find another alternative that you can use. So instead of using an OData, if OData doesn't work with the actual certificates, you can, I'll close this. This is saved as a PBIX file. So I'll just save it and close it, open it once more. Okay, I'm opening Power BI for desktop again. So this time what I'm going to do is use the SQL database directly, and this will work for scheduling refresh seamlessly without any issues. So just to keep it simple, let's connect to the underlying SQL Server database. I'm on my server machine, and it requires you to be on your server machine where or wherever there is direct access to your SQL Server database. So let's say SQL Server, and I'll give my server name. Okay, and it will connect using Windows authentication only. It needs to be Windows authentication, otherwise it won't work. Okay, and it recognized all the databases. I only have one, which is NAV 2015 demo database. And here I will take data from, say, okay, it'll take some time to pick all the tables that are there. So let me just give it some time. Oh, I know it always takes a little while too. I just want to pick some data. Okay, there you go. Okay, I don't want this one. I want sales invoice. You know the tables that you want data from, so just pick up those. So for example, sales invoice header and line. We'll edit them. Of course, it's a Power Query or data editor. So we'll edit both the data sets. So let's rename them. Let's remove the company name out of the name. Okay, it's the same. It's the data as it is in the table, SQL table, that is. So you rename the data set, choose the columns that you want. So we are in sales invoice line table. So let's take only some fields that we want, because this table has lots and lots of data. So remove everything and say take document number, because you need to connect with the sales invoice header using document number. So let's also take line number, let's take item number, and maybe quantity, and yeah, that's it. To keep it simple. Okay, so we have all this. Let's say the quantity is decimal number. Okay, it has already recognized, which is good. And transform this to round off with two decimal numbers. So we have all this. Okay, so we are good with this, and go to the other one now. Click on the other one, sales invoice header, and here again choose only some columns. So that option is popping up here because it thinks that there are a lot of columns. So let's just say choose columns. How did I click on it? Okay, choose columns. Okay, so remove everything. Take the document number, which is number here. Sell to customer number, and whatever other data that you need. You can actually type in here directly location, for example. Sell to customer name if you want. Similarly, you can have sell to customer, region, etc. Okay, so I'll just take few to show you how it really works. I think I should have also taken another one, which is amount, to show something related to amount. Okay, amount I'll take from the sales invoice line. So if I try to choose columns here, it's already rounded off and only this many is there. This many columns are there. You need to go back to that step where you removed other columns. Go back to that step, choose your column here, and it will say you want to insert another column. Yes, to the existing this thing. So now you say amount. So I'll take just the sales line amount and click on OK. Okay, let's also make sure this is decimal and it's rounded off well. So that's it. So both the data sets are uh, reshaped, and we've taken only things that we need. We'll close and apply. Okay, it's creating the data model. In the data model, let's just quickly create relationships. So click on relationships and come here and create a relationship between sales invoice header and line. So manage relationships, and the only relationship is the document number. So sales invoice number is the number. It automatically thinks it's number in sales invoice line, but it's not. So in sales invoice line, it's actually document number. So this is known. So we'll just create that relationship and close it. Once that is done, now let's start with the visualizations. So what I'm going to do here is let's create maybe location wise sales in this report. So we have multiple locations, and let's see the amount, and just take a pie chart out of it, or a donut chart, just to keep it new. And we can also take yeah, just to show you how the refresh works, right? So we know how to have multiple different columns and add multiple different charts. So I'll just keep it simple, just one chart. I'll publish it. We need to save it as oh, what is this? We did location wise sales, but this is coming through SQL. So I'm just going to say SQL so that we know what it is. Okay, so it got published into our Power BI site. So if you see here, location wise sales is available, the same chart. Now our main thing is to see whether it gets refreshed. When it's coming from some data sources, one of them is SQL Server. I'll tell you what are the different data sources for which you can schedule refresh easily. So I have actually bookmarked it here. So so on-premise data, one of them is SQL Server. So if it's an Access database or a SQL Server or a MySQL Server database, MySQL database, Oracle database, all of these that you see under this list, for all of these, we need to set up something called personal gateway. Okay, these are all called on-premise database. They are not sitting on cloud somewhere which can be accessed from anywhere, but it is sitting on your server. It's on your server. In that case, if you still want to refresh it from anywhere in the world, only Power BI data, if it needs to be refreshed from anywhere in the world, you need to download something called Power BI Gateway. So if I go back to my Power BI site under downloads, you'll see Power BI Personal Gateway. All you need to do is download it and install it. Okay, once you install, it will start running on your server. Okay, and once you give your Windows credential, this only works with Windows credential. On your server, give your Windows login ID and password and click on OK, and it says it's running now. It's always running. Okay, so from on premise, if this is running, you can set up for uh, refresh. So let me just go back to powerbi.com and say I want to schedule refresh for this, because since it's from SQL, I have something called gateway status. It's an on-premise database. So gateway status, it will detect that there's something running on your server which is online. So it says is online, and then you need to edit credentials. So it automatically chooses Windows. So say sign in. Okay, and so that happened without any issues, and now you can schedule, keep your data up to date daily. At any time you can make sure that it refreshes and gets the fresh data. Not just that, if you think this is too long, it's waits for 1 day to get all the data, you can actually go and say refresh now, and it will refresh immediately to get the data now only. So if you see, there's a small circle that's going on. It says that it's actually going to your SQL database on premise and getting data from your SQL database, and it updates. So if I update something in my NAV database, it will reflect in your Power BI report. So that's about scheduling refresh. Unfortunately for OData, with it's not updated yet, since PowerBI.com is fairly very new. They might introduce this feature very soon, but as of now you cannot refresh it with OData. But with SQL database, if you connect to SQL database directly with personal gateway, you can schedule refresh for these data sets. Okay, so that's about Power BI mainly. And one more main feature that I have to show is the Q&A feature. If you go to your dashboard, okay, and here you can type questions about, so this dashboard is getting data from two different data sets. Okay, it has data from two different data sets, and you can ask questions related that is from two different data sets easily. Okay, so let's say what's my total sales by salesperson John. So we know we have no, total sales amount is what I have to say, because it doesn't. Okay, you just need to understand how this really works. So for example, if I say total sales amount, okay, something is wrong, 1 second. Total amount LCY. So it's important to give the column names in the right manner. So total amount LCY in let's say India. Okay, that's just 303.66 thousand. But total, oh, it didn't change it. In Iceland, okay, it did change. So in Iceland, it's 16.09 thousand, or in Austria. Okay, so if you're really interested in about sales in Austria specifically, you can pin this directly from here to your dashboard, so that you need not put this question always. Okay, so total sales by salespeople, for example. Okay, salespeople, it automatically understood, and it's showing you in a chart in a chart also. So salesperson John. Okay, only John sales, it's showing here now. Okay, like this you can actually put questions to your data set, and it will show you, and you can pin those. Total sales by country. Okay, each and every country it's showing you sales. Okay, it's showing total sales means it's taking the count number of documents, but you need to say total sales or amount LCY by country. So this is just a little bit of practice and you'll understand how this really works. Total sales by posting date. You see how it shows total sales by country again, or by location, whatever you want. Okay, no. Total amount. Okay, I'm also trying it for the first time, so we just, it's a trial and error method, but once you know, all your questions will also show here, and you can pin your questions onto your dashboards. Like I said, if you remember, we pinned one of the things, so that's come here. Of course, you can move it wherever you want to. You can edit the name of this. This is sales in Austria, so it will keep getting refreshed as and when the data sets get refreshed as well. So that's the Q&A feature. So let me just discard this. That's about Power BI. I hope it's a good introduction to what Power BI is all about. You can sign up for Power BI free version whenever immediately if you want, and start exploring. Not just now 2015, of course, OData and all, it works even with 2013, and if you're connecting with SQL database, it even works with older versions. Okay, so that's about Power BI mainly, and let me just show you what are the two versions of Power BI. So if I just go to Power BI .microsoft.com, you will see that there's pricing here. You can go to pricing and see what is the difference between free version and Power BI Pro version. Like I said, free version will have only 1 GB per user space, whereas this is 10 GB. And similarly, you can only refresh this daily, but this one you can refresh it hourly. And also, if your data is huge, Power BI Pro will be able to handle it, but Power BI free will only handle up to 10,000 rows and things like that. So you can come here to see the difference between Power BI free version and Pro version, and you can purchase. To try Power BI Pro, you can get 60 days free trial as well. You can try Power BI Pro for 60 days and then purchase if you wish. So that's about powerbi.com and how you can use your raw data to give you meaningful insights about your data. So any questions so far before we move to social listening? Sorry. Okay, so how this refresh function works, is this stored in the database warehouse? So this refresh function will, because of the database gateway, every time it has to refresh, it will come to your particular server, and in your server you have the gateway running, right? Personal gateway. It will authenticate your SQL server, and it will actually grab the data from your SQL database. It is not storing it in any other place. It will actually go back to your SQL database and get the data. Any more questions? Okay, I think we are good to move to the social engagement part. Okay, you can, of course, feel free to drop me an email if you have any questions about Power BI. I think Power BI seems really exciting. I think you might be waiting to try it on and you might come with questions. Performance issue, I am not very sure, but of course, it might take some time to load if the data is huge. That's definitely possible. And it's mostly reading data. So, to the database, I don't think it's going to cause a big trouble. But, getting the data into Power BI might take some time, but, we'll only be able to tell it through some experience. But let me see if I'll connect with the Power BI team and ask them if they have faced any Power BI, performance issues. I will get back to you on that. If you're refreshing day on daily basis, I'm sure there is, you can schedule it at a time where nobody is working on your SQL database, maybe at the in the evening, so that next day morning, whoever's seeing Power BI will get the fresh report. But if it's scheduled to refresh every 1 hour, then we might have to look at performance. So I will check and get back. Okay, so can we move to social listening part? I think I'll be taking another 5 to 10 minutes extra because this one took a little more longer than I expected. Okay, so moving on to social listening part. Okay, social engagement with Dynamics NAV is what we're going to look at now. In this session, we'll see how NAV and social engagement work together to gain true understanding of the sentiments of your business, your products, or your partners or customers. Okay, so this social engagement feature is available in NAV 2015 cumulative update 3 onwards. And this is social engagement is actually part of CRM product, but it can be used as standalone, and which is why we are taking the standalone part and integrating it with Dynamics NAV. What is this social listening? Or social engagement? It's all about trying to understand what your customers are talking about, what people are talking about your products. If you have certain product, what your customers have, what are people talking about your customers? What are people talking about your vendors? If you have certain campaigns that you're running, what are people talking about your campaign? Whether the people are talking positive things about your campaign or your product, or whether they're talking something negative. You'll get to know the sense of people's perspective on your products or customers, and you will be able to change that using social engagement, because you'll get an early insight of people's feeling on your products. Okay, so we'll understand it in a bit. So there are what are the key capabilities of this social engagement? So it's a sentiment analysis of your customers who buy your products, or your customers, where you're dealing with, or your vendors that you're dealing with. So you'll get a sentiment about these people or your products. You can share the voice in different languages across social media like Twitter, Facebook, etc. You can also track your competition's products or your competitions. If you have another company doing the same business, you can track those people to see what people are talking about your competition, and where can you change, what can you do to change so that you get more business than them, or something like that. So competitive intelligence is one of them. You can manage your campaigns. For example, you can get a feeling about what your people are talking about your campaign. uh, so social engagement also tells you who are the top influencers of your products. For example, Microsoft sells Lumia 930, for example, Windows operating system. Uh, as Microsoft, I would like to know what are people talking about Windows 10. So, and who are the top people who are talking about Windows 10 and who can change other people's mind about Windows 10. You can find those people as well. So yeah, of course, it helps you get early insights from people regarding your topics. You can also set alerts in social engagement, so that if some feedback is going very negative from a lot of people, set an alert, and you can immediately get an alert and see what's going wrong, and you can get the latest trends and etc. So it's all about getting to know your sentiments around your products, sentiments around your customers and vendors, and it will help you make better decisions in your business. So uh, what are the sources where and all this social engagement is going to check for such feedback from people? So mainly it'll get I think Facebook is no more under social listening, but mainly it's Twitter, people's blogs, news, YouTube videos or other videos. So it will collect all these information from a lot of different sources, and it will tell you what people are talking about your product, your customer, and vendors. So when it comes to NAV and social engagement, mainly out of the box, you can track your items, the items that you're selling, your customers, and your vendors. These are available out of the box, and you can also get early warnings on issues by looking at the sentiments, and also you can integrate the social engagement directly into your NAV pages and records. So let's go and see what this really is in Dynamics NAV. So I'm going to do a quick demo, and these are some of the steps that I'm going to follow. So let me just go back to my lab here and go to the same database that I was working on. Okay. And what are we going to start with? We're going to start by searching social engagement. This is how you configure social engagement. If you have not signed up for a social engagement, you can click here to sign up for one. Okay, there are 3 plans. Unfortunately, there is no free trial here, but customers can buy one of these 3. And I think this is the one without CRM. These 2 are comes along with CRM integration, but this is the standalone one that you can choose. Once you sign up, you'll get a user ID and password to log into. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I can directly log into social listening because I have already signed up. Let me just directly sign up here. Oops. Oops, sorry. I think I need to sign up using office.microsoft.com. Oh, it's in some other location and I don't understand that. Okay, just give me a second. What I'll do is I'll log in from my local machine. Because my virtual machine is in East Asia, Southeast Asia, so it's picking up some local language from there. Okay, just give me a second, just a minute. I'll just stop sharing for a bit because I need to get the link properly. I'm sorry about that. Missed something here. Okay, it's actually portal.office.com and I forgot that. Okay, I started screen sharing again. I hope you can see it. Okay, I go to portal.office.com to log in. I think I've already logged in. Let me sign out and sign in again because my login ID is different for social engagement. So it's this one, T Vishnan at mslind01 on microsoft.com. Okay, so let me just log in. So once I log in, you can sign up and log in as well. And the first thing that we need to do is once you're logged in, take the link or this URL which is available on top, copy this. So this whatever you see here is actually set up for CRM, but I'm going to use the same login. So do not get confused about what you see here as of now. I will tell you what it is. Just once you log in, just take that URL and paste it here under social engagement URL and tab. From this URL, it will also take the solution ID automatically. Okay, and then you need to accept the license agreement and you need to say what all do you want to track, your items, your customers or vendors. Like I said, these three are available out of the box. So let's just take items for now and click on OK. Okay, the minute I do that, I go back into my NAV items list and now I can start tracking my items. Okay, I want to know what people are talking about my item uh, um, generally. So for every item you will see there's a new fact box and it says social media insight setup fact box, and you can set up a search topic for the first time because nothing is set up. It's giving this now. You can set it up and it will give you it will give you the feedback about what people are talking right here within Dynamics NAV. Okay, so these items are really generic. So what I'm going to do is I will create a new item called Volini. This is one of the items um that's used in India. So I'll just take that as an example and I'll say pieces and I'll say item category code is miscellaneous. So that's all. I'm not going to do much here and click on OK. Okay, so let's find Volini. And for this item, let's set up a search topic. Okay, search topic is required here. So this needs to be filled up, but we need to set up the search topic in the social media social engagement website. So it'll open a search topic page. Okay, and unfortunately the user ID that we get here internally in Microsoft, these user IDs do not have admin privileges, but oops. Oh God. One second, because we do not have admin privilege. Okay, there you go. I was waiting for this to come and I thought it got deleted. Sorry. So we do not have admin privileges to create search topics. I wish I could create a new search topic and show you how it really works. But if you're an admin, you will be able to create a new search topic, say for example Windows operating system, and you can say it's a product and you can set up all that, but I'll show you an existing one. And if you speak about existing one, Volini is already there, so I'm going to show that. So you can create similarly, you can say it's Windows operating system if you're creating for Windows, but So this is Volini. It's a cream that you get in India. It's a product. Okay, and what are the rules that you're going to set? Okay, you click here, and from where all do you want people's sentiment about this product? From blogs, from Facebook is it doesn't support keyword searches anymore, so that's what it says. That's why this we have, so this has changed recently. But otherwise about this product, from Twitter, from different videos, news, etc. So you can get the sentiments from all these locations, and this is all set up by social engagement. You just need to, you can remove whatever you don't want here. So there's no setup that you need to do for a particular Facebook account or anything. So it's going to search everywhere and get you the details. Okay, so you do that, and apart from sources, you can also search in different languages if you want to, but now it's English. And this is what is important. You need to give the keywords to search for. So you can say Volini gel without space. There's also a spray that comes, so you can give multiple keywords if you want. And if I come a little bit down, if whether you want the keywords to be in the whole paragraph or just in one sentence together, like for example these two, if what if they are in different paragraphs, should it just pick up those or something like that? So you need to refine your rule as much as possible to get the right amount of feedback from people. So you will set up all these, and this is our search key, and this link is what I'm going to take now. Okay, once I take that and I paste that here, it'll automatically take the search topic from your this thing, and I'll click on OK. Now it's actually going to show me about this particular item. What are the trend like? What is the feedback like? Okay, if it's green, it's of course positive. If it's pink, it's negative. If it's gray, it's neutral. So which is good here. The feedback is mostly positive. And how many posts are there for this topic from per day, or day wise, all that you can get. Which language, we only have English and Denmark for this particular one, so we have only chosen English, so it's all from English coming in. And so that's what is social engagement all about, in showing you in a very brief manner, where you can get the sentiment of your product, your customer, or your vendor from the social media, and everything else is managed. All you have to do is set up the search topic and say whether it's a product, whether if it's a competitor, whether it's your contacts, or whether it's a campaign that you're running, etc. You need to set up all that and set up the keyword and select that keyword and put it in the nav, and it will check for the feedback from people around, and it will tell you how your product is doing in the social media. And this of course gives you a very good insight about whether to manufacture more, maybe whether to promote it if it's going neutral or things like that. So it's going to give you a very good insight into your business. Apart from that, if I just look at this particular social engagement site, this has many different search topics set up. um, these search topics that you see here, it can be not related to your nav at all. You can set up something completely different and still know what people are talking about these topics within this site. So for example, overall about all your topics, the sentiments are mostly green, and some are also negative. And all these sentiments or feedbacks are coming from different locations, so you can also get location wise. You can actually click on a particular location and see in that location what are the sentiments like, and things like that. So it's refreshing. Let's just give it a minute. So in that particular location, mostly 75 people are positive and only 25% people are neutral. So something like that. And also, if I just go to the right, um, I was talking about influencers, product influencers. You can find main people who generally talk about people and who can influence other people. You can find those people. You can find their Twitter handles, and you can make sure that they influence your product in a better way, and things like that. You can analyze the social media and people. So that's what this social engagement is all about, to be very brief. But you can, once you sign up for this, you can explore more features that are there. For example, conversations, if I go in there, I think uh, this is the same thing, but you get the usually used phrases that by the people, how they normally use it. And what else? Okay, sentiment history is how, when has it been neutral and where it started being positive is another one. And you can see it, maybe last week it came down, and it was neutral for some time, and then it went back up and things like that. So this is all actually real time data that we are seeing here. And you can also put a date range. For example, how about last month? How was it last month? So things like that. You can go in here and analyze people's sentiment in a much deeper way. So that's what social engagement is all about, and you can get these sentiments right in your Dynamics NAV pages as well. So that's about it. And yeah, that's all I had from my side. Any questions? Any questions about social engagement or even Power BI? If you have any more questions, feel free to type in, or even you can unmute and ask me directly. Okay, I think there are no more questions. I hope the session was useful. It gave you a good understanding of Power BI and social engagement. You can always go ahead and explore it yourself and get back to me if you have any questions. I will be happy to assist you. As a follow-up to this, one thing is, let me stop recording this.